Diolch yn fawr iawn, Leila. Mae'n bore gret yn dweud, mae'n bore gwych i ddweud y gwir. A mae'n bore pwysig iawn. Mae'n bwysig oherwydd bod ni fan hyn yn dawnsio rhywbeth all newid y byd i'r bobl sy'n heddi gweld newid ac angen newid yn fwy na neb arall, sef y bobl hynny i ni'n ymgyrchu gyda nhw, y bobl hynny sydd ddim yn cael eu rhan deg o bwyd y byd. From this winter scene, we are calling on people to move and to campaign and to raise their voices towards an event that will be happening in the summer, if we have a summer this year. The G8 in Lisbon. I want to tell you a story. I've been asked to say something about the story. I want to tell you about the group of people that I met 20 years ago in the rural areas of Brazil. They were a group of about 50, 60 people who had invaded a piece of land. They were one of the millions of rural, landless poor in Brazil. They had invaded this land because the land was owned by nobody. Under the law of Brazil as it was then, they had a right to that land. But of course, the vested interests said that it was better to keep the poor poor, to keep them dependent on whatever was available for them. But these people were seeing that their children were going hungry. They were malnourished. And they knew that the only way that they could change things was to have control over the land that they needed to grow food. As simple as that. So they invaded the land. And I spent some time with them there in the encampment. Every day hired guns were coming in, trying to frighten them off the land. But they held strong. That was 20 years ago. It was a heck of a struggle. And if you think this is a miserable place, that place was a million times more miserable. Last April, I visited them again. I have been taken by one of the organizations that is supported through aid, that is supported by many of the agencies that are represented here today. We have supported the movement of the landless for 20 years or more. Last April, I was taken to see a group that was on their land. They were there, they had built a community, they were growing food, they were selling their milk, they were baking bread and selling the bread in the nearby town. It was, it was so ordinary that the question was, why are we visiting these people? Until I saw who they were. They were that group of people that I met 20 years ago, desperate, clinging on to that land that they had invaded. They won their battle. They got the right to their land. They told me that they would not have been able to succeed had it not been for the support of many people around the world. I say that they would not have succeeded if it hadn't been for the grim determination and faith that they had. What we gave as agencies would have been wasted if it was not for their determination and hope that would not let go. They had a vision. And I think the least that we can do is to forget our chilly feet, forget the cold, and be equally as determined as they are to change this world. And I believe that together we can do that. Gyda'n gilydd, a dyna beth oedd y bobl yna yn Brazil yn dweud, gyda'n gilydd fe allwn ni lwyddo. Gyda'n gilydd fe allwn ni weld byd sydd yn debygach i'r haf i ni'n gobeithio amdano na'r gaeaf yma i ni'n dioddef. Gyda'n gilydd fe all holl bobl y byd gael digon o fwyd, o leia hynny, bywyd sydd yn debygach i'r bywyd i chi o un yn gwneud. Gyda'n gilydd. So together we can make a difference. we can change the world.
It's always a challenge to follow down. I want to just take us on a quick journey from Wales across the world, sharing a bit of what I've seen over the last decade. Starting in Angola, Southern Africa in 2003, I was there with Oxfam visiting a World Food Programme distribution centre in Kwambo. And one of the things that I was astonished by only a few months after starting my career in international development was that this food distribution centre was half full of slimming powder that had been sent from the United States under tax relief for multinational corporations that are able to reclaim tax from this food aid. One of the things that brought home horribly for me was A, appropriate aid, and B, the need for transparency in the food system. And the other thing that struck me in Angola was, as they were struggling to rebuild the country, billions of dollars in oil revenues were disappearing or simply not being collected due to the lack of capacity for taxation. So again, one of the really important points of this campaign. Fast forwarding to Indonesia in 2007, I was working out there on the tsunami relief programme, and one of the things which was obviously a huge issue there was that many coastal farmers had been either displaced by the tsunami or were actually being displaced by multinational companies moving in on land grabs of land for tourism or for industry or for palm oil plantations. And a fantastic movement formed there, which off the back of the tragedy of the tsunami actually managed to pull together a set of land rights laws that were rooted in the needs of farmers and local communities. And that was a real revolution, a real inspiration. And again, that underlines the importance of land rights that are geared to the needs of those involved themselves. We're also involved in helping coffee farmers in the Highlands to secure fair trade, build fair trade cooperatives and secure ways of selling to get past unfair trade rules. Another key part of this campaign and underlining the importance of Wales's fair trade movement. And then last year, I had the joy of visiting Ethiopia with one of the community links near Bridgend, but a project also supported through the Sides of Wales programme, which supports forestation in Africa. And I visited a women's youth cooperative where HIV and AIDS affected families had formed a co-op, and the local government supported them to secure land and to set up this cooperative to grow crops. And two people there, an elderly woman and a young man, explained the difference that having that cooperative had made for them. The fact they learned to manage their plants and to grow vegetables, they learned skills along the way, and they were able to produce enough produce to take to market. The personal profits, they were able to put into school and health fees. The communal profits went into community facilities like water pumps. And I was there at Easter, Passover, in Ethiopia, which is bigger than Christmases here perhaps, in this weather, quite topical. And the thing that struck me with the community spirit there was that it wasn't only about coming out of poverty, but being able to celebrate Passover in a meaningful way. It was also about having real human dignity as well. So that really illustrated to me the importance of good aid, land rights, transparency, and alleviating poverty ultimately. These stories for me illustrate the world moving forward over a decade. The world is changing, there is less conflict, there is more development, there's greater connection between people, and people were moved 7 years ago to make property history around the G8. And we need to regain that power of thinking people again, building a movement for change, building a movement for a better future. But this year's G8 here in the UK, we need to capture the power of now. So there can be enough food for everyone if we all play our part. Play your part.
llywodraeth, mae'n y bethau mae Cymru yn gallu gwneud. Rydyn ni fel grŵp OS yng Nghymru wedi sgrifennu yn barod at y prif weinidog a arwainwyr y pleidiau eraill. Ymhlith y pethau ni'n gofyn iddyn nhw wneud yw sicrhau bod yr arian sy'n cael ei wario gan y llywodraeth a gan Cymru yn cyfnogi masnach de, troloiadwy treth ac ynaladwyau amgylcheddol. Rydyn ni'n gofyn iddyn nhw sicrhau bod nhw'n dod â mesur datblygu cynaladwy cryf iawn fewn, a fydd yn grŵm o Cymru yn y brwydro i daclo newid hinsawdd. Ac os newid hinsawdd yw un o'r ffactorau mwy o graelon sy'n wynebu ffermwyr fechan yn y wledydd tlawd. Hefyd, rydyn ni'n gofyn iddyn nhw rhoi pwysau ar Europe i dod â'r mandate ar gwneud ffactor a biodanwyd i ben. Achos mae prisiau'n codi, prisiau bwyd yn codi mwy oherwydd bod cymaint o dir yn cael ei risol i tyfu biofuels. Felly, mae'n nifer eraill bydd ni yn gofyn chi hefyd a bydd rhoi bwysau ar Llywodraeth Cymru, nid just ar Llywodraeth Prydain a'r G8. And finally, we just want to assure you, to reassure you that we're not just asking you to go out there and do it all, collect it all yourselves. There will be lots of good resources available. Look at my hat. Some of you have got your wristbands already. If you haven't, please come and get them from one of the organisers. Hannah here has lots. And we've got some good visual materials coming out, and the first of those is an animation which you can huddle around a couple of iPads to see. Unfortunately, we couldn't stretch to a big screen so we could do it all collectively. So you might like to actually warm up by getting together closely around Julian and the iPads over here.
Steve, an iPad, if you can...
Okay. And finally, we do an anthem as well. I'm going to hear it
after the animation.
After the animation, we hear the anthem. Again, diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. Thank you so much for coming out in the cold. Remember what Jeff said, we made it cold, but there's a lot more suffering out there that we are going to help tackle. And Danny, diolch.
Yeah. So